Grain elevators are a staple of many small towns, storing Nebraska crops before they're shipped out or sold. But dangers from falling, electrocution, dust explosions, and engulfment injure or kill people every year.
10 11's Megan Johnson has this special report on how accidents are handled and what's being done to protect Nebraska workers.
In the last 10 years, the Nebraska Occupational Safety and Health Administration has investigated 21 grain industry accidents. 14 of those were deadly. The death toll has OSHA, grain groups, and Nebraska families searching for ways to make the industry safer. Cousins Tanya Ford and Jessica Johnson remember Johnson's father as a caring and family-first kind of man.
My father was our #1 fan. I have a younger brother, and he was someone who always went to our sports, our school activities, just always there for us and our cheerleader.
Bobby Fitch was 51 years old when he fell more than 80 feet to his death in a Lincoln grain mill. His family blames an unsafe, open-style elevator known as a man lift.
He went to work. He was supposed to come home. That's how it had been for 32 years.
Ford, Fitch's niece, says they didn't know where to turn for answers after her uncle's death, and says they were stunned when they learned the company would not be fined by OSHA in exchange for removing that one lift.
There should not be any question. Going to work should not be a grave mistake. And there should be somebody accountable for taking the life of somebody.
The head of OSHA in Nebraska says they make citations after each incident investigation. But they can lower those fines if the employer gets rid of the hazard or makes extra safety improvements.
When we talk to them about these cases, we're looking for abatement of the hazard, correction of the violations, so that employees are no longer exposed to those hazards. That's the main thing. We want to make sure that no one else is exposed to those hazards so everyone goes home safe.
Bonita Winningham says they can and have made recommendations to the Justice Department if they find a company has willingly disregarded safety. 2 companies have pled guilty to criminal sanctions for Nebraska grain-related deaths in the past 4 years.
Our penalties do not reflect what someone's life is worth at all.
Grain incidents account for 1/3 of all the worker deaths OSHA has looked into in the last 10 years. That's why OSHA is using education and training efforts to get the message out about grain hazards.
We have a goal here in Nebraska to be the safest state in the country, and we actually would like to get to 0 fatalities here in Nebraska.
This is where we would like hook up a safety rope to.
Some companies like CPI, which Safety Director Mark Heffley says has 26 grain elevators across the state, implement their own safety requirements in addition to those of OSHA, the Fire Marshal, and the EPA.
We need to understand that we're not in the old 4-inch, 6-inch auger phrase anymore. We're moving grain at 20 to 40, 50,000 bushels an hour. So grain moves a lot faster.
My time came sooner than expected.
Bobby Fitch's family says each milestone, like weddings and graduations, are bittersweet without him.
We can't bring Uncle Bobby back, but it's time to prevent it. Let's make sure that this doesn't happen again.
If you have to leave this earth, why not leave it a legacy and make changes, make positive changes in the world?
Tanya Ford is involved with the United Support Memorial for Workplace Fatalities and says trips to Congress has changed the way OSHA communicates with families when a loved one dies. The family says they still want companies to be more accountable and say they'll keep pushing for change.